שמעמד הביניים, אנחנו מעמד הביניים, אנחנו לא הולכים לוותר. I want to say that the middle class, we, the middle class, we are not going to give up, and we're intertwined with the impoverished. If we get further along or make progress, the poor also progress with us. We won't stop and let the tycoons leave us behind. We're taking with us the weak class and the weakened class. We will take care of the orphan, the widow, the foreign citizen, the poor, and all the ones who are having a hard time.
During the summer of 2011, hundreds of thousands of Israelis hit the streets in protest. 10,000 tents sprung up on Sderot Rothschild, a main promenade in Tel Aviv. It seemed as though every town had a tent city, what quickly became the ubiquitous emblem of the cause. The price of rent had gone up astronomically in the cities, leaving people no choice but to commute. But the price of gas was nearly unaffordable as well. Even the staple of the Israeli diet, cottage cheese, something once considered the food of the masses, was an expensive and rare treat. College students, many fresh out of the army, were finding it nearly impossible to afford school. Between tuition, food, and rent, something had to give. Some chose not to go to college and dive into the workforce right away. Leaving the country, something highly stigmatized, was becoming a valid option for many young adults seeking employment opportunities. Others chose to attend school in zones of intense conflict. The rocket and mortar fire were a compromise they were willing to make for an affordable education. The summer and fall of 2011 saw the largest protests in Israeli history, and surprisingly, not a single person was hurt at any of the rallies, the largest with nearly 500,000 participants. However, the news coverage of this historic time was largely limited to Israeli news outlets. The rallies were overshadowed in the international arena by the violent revolutions occurring all around Israel. Many young Israelis wondered whether their neighbors were, in fact, more effective at bringing about change because of the violence. Many started to feel that no major social reforms could come to fruition until Israeli citizens died. Not just a few, but enough to shake the government out of its coma. This morbid maxim was uttered by hawks, doves, and anarchists alike. Although the theme of hope was ever apparent in the protest activities, it was tinged with the fatalistic notion that if this didn't accomplish the social and economic reforms that the protesters set out to accomplish, there was no realistic dream for a better future in Israel. The rally symbolized the last bastion of hope among the Israeli youth.
An Israeli college student in his 20s was killed and several other students wounded when a Qassam rocket hit the Sapir College near Sderot on Wednesday afternoon.
By the way, there's the Sapir College there. It's a very prestigious college. It may be another reason for their missile attacks on Sderot. They not only attack Sderot but also nearby enterprises and the Sapir College in particular, where there are about 1,000 students from across the country, including Tel Aviv, Jerusalem and other cities of Israel.
A bodyguard for Internal Security Minister Avi Dichter was hit by shrapnel near Sapir College today. He had been scouting out the area for an appearance by Dichter later in the day.
My name is Ilana Kishko, I'm 26, and I live in Kibbutz Erez, which is near Sderot. I'm just finishing my first degree in Sapir College. I'm studying communications and journalism.
I'm 26 years old. I lived here in Sderot, studying the college here, in Sapir College.
So my name is Reuma Mansour and I live in Kibbutz Bor Chai for the last year and I'm working in the Sapir College.
Uri Shchori, I'm 28 years old and I live in Ber Yaakov, which is near, it's in the center of Israel. I studied here in Sapir.
I go to school at Sapir College, which is right near the Kibbutz Gevim.
There are a multitude of reasons students choose to attend college in the town of Sderot. For some, it's the most cost-effective way they can receive a college education. For others, the beauty, diversity, and remoteness of the area outweigh the missile attacks. Because of the popularity of Sapir College, Sderot is predominantly a town of young adults. Oftentimes, their parents can't understand why they'd choose to live there.
My parents were like, panic and go there, and how did you think of choosing to study there, and it's not safe, and it's so close to Gaza. And I told them, listen, it's only a matter of time. And actually, 2 weeks afterwards, they attacked. The Grad attack was near Ashdod and Gan Yavne, where my parents live. So I just told them, you see, it doesn't matter. I mean, it will get there, and eventually it will get to Tel Aviv too. And it's only, and when it will get to Tel Aviv, this is when they will do something about it.
There is a definite siege mentality among those attending school at Sapir. They understand the risks, and although angry about the perpetual conflict, aren't planning on leaving anytime soon. The attacks are an acceptable part of life. Because of the perpetual conflict with Gaza, in many parts of Sderot, the government built bomb shelters for each residence.
And you know, the people of Sderot got used to it. And this is ridiculous because they got used to rocket attacks. And we knew it. We knew where we're coming. We knew it dangerous. It was also, you know, it came with good parts. The study here was like 50% cheaper. The housing is cheaper. It's not like living in Tel Aviv and study there. The houses are bigger. The environment is cool, even though it's like under war. The thing is that after Kathleen, it was a completely different story. I mean, it was almost like it is now. And so you're here for 2 weeks, and you, touch wood, you know, you haven't heard Tzeva Adom. You haven't heard sirens, you haven't heard of, you know, attacks.
In fact, that morning there had been a deadly terrorist attack on a tourist bus in Eilat. The next day we could feel the rumble and vibrations of retaliatory bombs being dropped on Gaza by the Israeli army. That weekend saw the largest increase in violent conflict between Gaza and the south in months. However, for the residents of the area, a little emotional detachment was necessary if they were to live with some level of internal peace.
This is a beautiful area and people are so strong living in this reality of missiles and conflict. One of my favorite spots is actually called the Missiles Hill because during the war all the media would go there and just look at how they throw missiles at us, so it's quite interesting. You see the whole strip from there, the Gaza Strip. One of my favorite places.
It seemed that the students also felt a sense of duty in supporting their adopted home, trying to show the world and their community that life can be made better despite the conflict.
I love the way my college is involved in this area because it's underdeveloped area. A lot of people here are immigrants from different places, and it's not a very, let's say, strong city, Sderot. Of course, the missiles didn't really contribute to it. So the college is very, very involved. We do loads of social projects here. I love everything here.
Enrollment at Sapir College hasn't been affected by its proximity to the Gaza Strip. It is the internal social and political conflict that affects the students more than any outside agitation. If anything is driving young adults from Israel, it's lack of economic opportunities, and fear that no matter how hard they work and how much education they receive, they won't be able to afford to move to the next stage of life, having a family and children. It is the ultimate goal of many Jews worldwide to eventually make Aliyah, or the ascension to Israel, the return to the biblical homeland. However, for many Sabras, Israeli-born nationals, they feel like they must leave the country behind to live the lives they'd imagined for themselves. To leave Israel is to do Yerida, which means to descend from Israel. The stigma attached to doing Yerida is one of negativity and selfishness. According to Pasadri, those who do Yerida are seen as individuals who don't care about Israel or their Judaism and prefer their own good over the overall health of society. They're seen as choosing the easy way out, but Adria pointed out that there is something intrinsically cruel about accusing those people of being selfish, especially when the government and society continue to fail to provide opportunities for those citizens who've done their army service and are trying to move to the next stage of life. Time after time, I heard young men and women alike speaking of how, no matter how hard they work, they are merely surviving with no possibility of thriving. Ideals of nationalism can only go so far when it's nearly impossible to afford rent and food.
I'm trying to move to the United States, as you know. And why? I don't know, there's more opportunities being here all the years, like, so my hard army service. And if you ask me why not, people would not move here, not move from here. It's like, people are good here. But the United States is pretty much where my goal is to be.
These young adults aren't seeking luxury, just basic needs.
People really can rent a house. It's pretty shitty. They have to live with their parents when they're 40. It's not good. I don't want to pay 2,000 shekels apartment, but I can eat. I want to eat.
I think to find an occupation, something to do, and to live, to be able to live from the salary, and of course to find myself a home. I can't say it happened, both things right now. To buy a house, it costs so much that I just can't. I can build my house from mud, you know. And because I'm working and I'm doing the thing that I like to do, you know what? And it's just, there's not too much money, and I like to live in the south, and in the south it costs, it's even less, you get even less, and most of the things are cost higher than the center.
You have a financial challenge which you need to get a job, get a degree, and actually you get a bit of help from your parents. I mean, if your parents are financially okay, they will pay for either your school or either on your household, but still you have to, you know, pay taxes and pay all the things here. And when you're a student, it's really hard, because after you get out of the army, you just need a year of rest or a year of a journey or vacation or whatever, or living in Tel Aviv like I did. And then you're coming back to school, and it's different. You have to adjust and come back to school and, you know, get a degree and keep your living conditions while doing this. Our parents gave birth to us when they were our age, and now we can't afford to bring new life to here, because even we are having trouble to ending up the month. I mean, this is what all this protest is about the middle age, the ages of 20 to 40. They're having a real problem to take care of themselves and their children, and to begin a new home and, you know, have kids and stuff.
These young adults often feel abandoned by their communities and their country.
I want to live in a state that I couldn't perceive leaving behind. And I don't feel like that about Israel. It annoys me and I feel bad about it. And I don't, I would move to the States in one instant if my wife is very connected to her family. So I won't. She is really connected to them. But if I lived alone, if I was a bachelor, I'd move to the US, like if I could have an assistant coach in Duke or something, or even a little college, I would move in an instant, and it annoys me. I don't want it. I want to feel connected. I want to feel one. I want to feel community.
For some, moving from Israel is the only logical way to pursue their careers, even if it's just for the short term.
Actually, I'm moving on Sunday to Greece. That's where I found a job, technical support. I'm going to work there for 6 months, mostly just to see how it is and make some money for another trip in Europe. That's the only reason. If I could do the same in Israel, I'd do it. But
I was thinking about moving out a few times. Before that I was really patriotic, but after a few years here, I was really thinking about, working at my job as a video editor or as a post editor, and I don't know if the market in Israel just needs so much editors. So in case I won't find a job here, a decent job with a decent salary, I just try Europe, I guess, or something.
When I think about my future career in the academy, I see the conditions that people get in the US and Germany, and I do think it's better conditions than if I want to be a doctor someday and to be a lecturer, that the conditions abroad are way better. So I do think about it.
For all the disappointment and the opportunities available to them, this generation of young adults truly wants to live in a better Israel. It is their home. It's where their family and friends live. The protests are a cry to the government to save the population, because there's a sense of desperation seeping through the middle class.
I would really like to, move out from Israel, because I don't feel that this country goes to any place better than it now. The opposite. But I don't really see myself doing it. I'm too attached to this place.
We feel like this is the last battle. Like, if we don't fight it now, we don't have a future in this country, and yeah, we're not gonna stay.
Perhaps the darkest realization I happened upon, while searching for the answers to what could rally millions of people together without violence, was that really nothing could rally and unify millions of people together without violence. Tragedy, fear, and violence tend to produce, as a sort of after effect, feelings of national pride and camaraderie, especially when the tragedies are felt on a large scale. The morning after a terror attack, the fear of getting on a bus, the sheer joy when a prisoner of war is returned home alive after many dark years of wandering. Where I thought I'd see pride in the lack of violence, I instead saw disappointment that, unlike their Arab neighbors, Israel was not about to undergo a major sea change. There were small victories. Doctors were finally getting paid a fairer wage, but the victories continue to this day to be overshadowed by the lack of true societal change.
Maybe when we'll have some broken heads, something will move. I don't know.
I think in the end, someone will come and make things a little better, but it's not gonna. In my opinion, it's not going to work as we want. Sad to say, but only violence will work. Sad, but I don't want to. But
unfortunately, sometimes you have to fight to make peace. I believe that someday it will happen here, but unfortunately, a lot of people will die before it happens.
And I think civil war may be an important thing, and for some reason, even though it's a conflict, it's given a result. And it's uniting two voices to one.
The price is very high.
Hope's a powerful concept. People can survive the most brutal conditions if they have hope, if they believe in a better future. However, there is a darker side to hope. When people become disillusioned and hope slowly fades into obscurity, what is left behind is something much more sinister. When you have nothing to lose, nothing is out of the question. Perhaps this frustration marks another exodus, one out of Israel and into more promising lands.